Can I have a piece of toast?
You remember the screams. The impossible agony of a man's bones breaking and reshaping. The terror of a four-legged nightmare stalking the streets of London. For over 40 years, An American Werewolf in London has been the gold standard of monster movies. But the horror you saw on screen is only half the story. The truth is, the pain, the danger, and the curse were very, very real. Today, we count down the 10 horrifying facts you never knew. Number 10, the unnatural howl. The first sign that something is deeply wrong on the moors isn't what you see. It's what you hear. That howl isn't from any animal known to man. That's because director John Landis wanted a sound that would make audiences instinctively feel that they were hearing something impossible, something fundamentally wrong. To create this unnatural cry, the sound design team blended 9 different sounds together, including a wolf, a lion, a panther, and even a locomotive train. The other chilling sound you hear after the attack, that distant, unsettling noise, that was a recording of a pig farm, distorted to sound otherworldly. Landis's goal was simple: to craft a soundscape so alien that it would make audiences ask themselves, what the hell was that? The horror begins not with a monster, but with a sound designed to violate the laws of nature.
Listen. Do you hear it?
Did you hear that?
I heard that.
What was it?
Number 9, the Hound from Hell conflict. The werewolf you see on screen, a monstrous four-legged predator, was born from a fierce conflict. Special effects master Rick Baker, a legend in his own right, originally envisioned a classic two-legged werewolf, a monster that was still part man, paying homage to the universal creatures he grew up with. But John Landis refused. He didn't want a sympathetic man-monster. He demanded what he called a four-legged hound from hell. He wanted a demonic beast, an unstoppable force of nature that represented a complete and terrifying loss of humanity. The final design, with its shaggy, dog-like features, was ironically based on Baker's own pet dog, Bosco. This argument wasn't just about design. It was a philosophical battle that redefined the werewolf for a generation, transforming it from a tragic figure into a purely animalistic nightmare. Number 8. The Oscar born from an insult. In 1982, An American Werewolf in London made history. Rick Baker's groundbreaking work won the first ever Academy Award for Best Makeup. It was a monumental achievement that cemented the film's legacy. But the horrifying truth is, the award was created not to celebrate this film, but to correct a shameful mistake. The year before, David Lynch's masterpiece, The Elephant Man, received 8 Oscar nominations. The incredible, transformative makeup work by Christopher Tucker was universally praised, yet it won nothing because a category for Best Makeup simply didn't exist. The public and industry outcry over this blatant snub was so immense that the Academy was forced to create the new category for the following year. So, while Rick Baker rightfully earned his statuette, the film's greatest triumph will forever be linked to the insult and injustice suffered by another masterpiece.
This year, the Academy has nominated 2 artists for their contributions. The winner is Rick Baker for An American Werewolf in London.
Number Number 7. The real-world trauma. The special effects in the film were not just convincing to audiences. They were so realistic that they inflicted genuine psychological trauma on the actors' own families. When actor Griffin Dunn's mother, who was very ill at the time, saw the film, she was deeply disturbed by the sight of her son as a mutilated, decaying corpse. The horror became real for her. Similarly, after the premiere, lead actor David Naughton's parents were in such a state of shock that they couldn't even tell him if they liked the film. Rick Baker's work was so masterful that it transcended the screen, breaching the barrier between fiction and reality and causing real emotional pain to the people who loved the actors. The horror wasn't just in the movie, it was in the theater, in the minds of those who couldn't separate the monster from their son.
Can I have a piece of toast?
Number 6. The Paris Threat. The film's title and setting are inseparable from its identity. The London in An American Werewolf in London is as much a character as David or Jack. But a bureaucratic nightmare almost sent the production to an entirely different country. The British Actors Union initially refused to grant a work permit for American actor Griffin Dunn, who played Jack. They insisted a British actor could easily fill the role. Director John Landis was so enraged by this that he threatened to pull the entire production out of the UK. His plan was to move the shoot to France and retitle the film An American Werewolf in Paris. The film we know and fear, with its foggy moors and iconic London landmarks, was nearly erased, a chilling reminder of how close the entire project came to becoming something completely different.
You really scared me, you shithead. You couldn't help me up.
Number 5. The Lost Murders. For a film celebrated for its graphic horror, it may be shocking to learn that you've only seen the censored version. The original cut contained a scene that was so brutal, so utterly horrifying, that it had to be removed entirely. The sequence depicted the werewolf's full, savage attack on the 3 homeless men. But when it was shown to test audiences, their reactions were so negative and horrified that the entire scene was cut from the final film. Other sequences were also toned down to secure an R rating, including a gruesome moment where a piece of toast was meant to fall out of undead Jack's torn throat. The masterpiece of horror you know is actually a compromised version. The knowledge of these lost murders creates a ghost in the film, a level of violence so extreme that even hardened 1980s horror fans couldn't stomach it. The most terrifying scene in An American Werewolf in London is the one you'll never get to see.
Look. There. Mary, mother of God.
Number 4. The Agony of Transformation. I feel sorry for you. Those were the first words special effects creator Rick Baker ever said to actor David Naughton. He wasn't joking. The legendary transformation sequence, which lasts only a few minutes on screen, was a week-long ordeal of physical torture for the actor. Naughton spent up to 10 hours a day entombed in makeup and prosthetics, often for just a few seconds of usable footage. To achieve the effects, his body was contorted into painful positions, sometimes trapped for hours beneath the floorboards of the set. The process began with suffocating plaster casts being made of his entire body. The on-screen body horror was a direct reflection of a real-life physical ordeal. The agony you see in his eyes is a performance fueled by genuine, prolonged claustrophobia and pain. The horror is authentic because the process of creating it was its own form of torture.
Help me! Please! Help me! Help me!
Number 3. The Blind Stuntman's Knife. The film's nightmare sequences are designed to be surreal and terrifying. But during the filming of the Nazi werewolf attack, the danger became terrifyingly real. In the scene where a masked creature slits David's throat, the stuntman was holding a real sharpened knife. To make matters worse, David Naughton later revealed his terror on set, stating that the stuntman, who was none other than Rick Baker in a cameo, couldn't see out of the mask. The terror in Naughton's eyes wasn't just acting. It was the genuine fear of a man whose life was in the hands of someone who was effectively blind and holding a deadly weapon to his neck. In the pursuit of realism, the production crossed the line from simulated horror to genuine, life-threatening danger.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Number 2. Naked with real wolves. There are no special effects in this scene, no camera tricks, no CGI. When actor David Naughton woke up in that wolf pen, he was completely naked, and he was surrounded by a pack of very real wolves. The crew's only safety precaution was that the wolves had supposedly just been fed. The animal handlers gave Naughton a chilling warning before the cameras rolled. Make no loud noises or fast moves. The situation became even more surreal when the shoot ran late and the zoo opened to the public. Naughton was forced to continue the scene, naked and surrounded by apex predators, in full view of a crowd of shocked tourists. This wasn't a simulation of fear, it was a moment of absolute vulnerability. A man stripped of everything, at the mercy of animals that could have killed him in an instant. The tension is real because the danger was real. Number 1. The curse's true origin. The most horrifying fact about an American Werewolf in London is not about what happened on set. It's about why the film exists at all. The story is not just a clever piece of fiction, it's the cinematic exorcism of a real and deeply unsettling event witnessed by its creator. In 1969, an 18-year-old John Landis was working as a production assistant in rural Yugoslavia. One day, driving through the countryside, he and his crew came across a group of Romani people performing an elaborate funeral at a crossroads. They were burying a corpse feet first, wrapped in garlic and other ritualistic items. When Landis asked what was happening, he was told the ritual was being performed to ensure the dead man would not rise from the grave. That moment, that direct confrontation with an ancient, deeply held belief in the undead, practiced earnestly in the modern world, was the single event that inspired the entire film. The movie's central conflict of a modern American tourist forced to accept that ancient curses are real is a direct dramatization of its creator's own chilling experience. An American Werewolf in London is terrifying because it was born from a real moment when the veil between our world and the world of nightmares proved to be terrifyingly thin. The film itself is the curse, passed from a real-life horror story onto all of us.